Good afternoon, my fellow thespians. My name is Bailey Hutton, and I am the president of Kauai Community Players. And in light of the pandemic affecting our community, I am delighted to welcome you to our first ever virtual-ish annual membership meeting. Now, before we begin this brief yet
Good
hopefully
afternoon,
entertaining
my fellow
program,
thespians.
I must express
My name is Bailey Hutton,
and I am the president of Kauai Community Players.
Sole
And
reason
in light
we
of
are
the
able to
pandemic
produce
affecting
a
our
production
community,
like
I am
this,
delighted
Larry
and Max to welcome you to our
Thank you
first
so much
ever
for the work you're doing.
I'm going to share more about the recent projects in a bit. Now, before we begin this brief yet
Good
hopefully
afternoon,
entertaining
my fellow
program,
thespians.
I must express
My name is Bailey Hutton, and I am the president of Kauai Community Players.
And in light of the pandemic affecting our production,
2020,
I am
yes,
delighted and
year.
Max to welcome
We
you to our
began,
first
albeit
ever
nervously, with the
I'm going to
daring and
share
iconic
more about the
production
recent
unlike
projects.
any
Now,
that
before we
featured
begin this
before.
brief
The
yet
president
persuaded
of
by
the
the
United
vision
States
and passion of director Jennifer Downs, KCP was proud to present the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a production that sold out almost immediately, and every night had a line of hopefuls waiting to snag a seat. Jennifer, thank you so much for doing justice to this production and sharing it with our community. To the Rocky Horror cast and crew, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your dedication and hard work. And you still owe me a shop vac, by the way. Our second, and as you know, final production of our 2020 season was one I took great personal joy in seeing. Jenna Sadusky really took the initiative and brought a unique script to life in a way I could never have imagined. She Kills Monsters truly transported you into another world. Through ingenuity and determination, Jenna and her cast pulled off a show I will never forget. And I'm hopeful we'll see more stories like these brought to life on our stage in the future. Now, before I move on, there is one individual I would not forgive myself if I did not give the credit they deserve. Serge Marcil took on the daunting commitment of serving as KCP's technical director for our 2020 season. Not only did he educate himself on unknown systems and equipment, he, in a mere 2 weeks, completely reorganized and rewired our entire lighting grid. Now, projects like that often go amiss in a community-run organization, and it takes a very special soul to take it on. Thank you for the many hours you spent, often alone, in our creepy warehouse, making it safer and easier for future productions to use. I'm also happy to announce that KCP has received a grant from the Wilcox Foundation to invest in much-needed sound equipment during our 2021 season. A special thanks to Vita Harder and Serge for putting the effort in to get that done. As you are aware, the KCP board made the decision to go dark halfway through our season in consideration of the pandemic and the accompanying social restrictions. Now, as disappointed as we were to make that decision, in hindsight, I am somewhat grateful because now I get to talk to you about a project that may not have happened any other way. KCP TV. Now, what you are witnessing right now would not be possible without the technical expertise gained from pursuit of our KCP TV production. We have honed our lighting skills, our sound expertise, and of course, our amazing camera work. We still have much to learn there. Now, I cannot mention KCP TV without mentioning past KCP president Will Welsh, who was the visionary and the driving force behind this project. Now, thanks to Will's legwork, KCP was able to move forward, launching Kauai Community Players Television. Our continued hope with KCP TV is to provide our community with a safe atmosphere and the resources needed to continue their artistic pursuits. I certainly hope you've been able to enjoy some of the productions we've already released, and if you haven't, they're on YouTube. I'd like to share with you a trailer of our next KCP TV production, directed by Larry Richardson. Now, this has not been released yet, so you are seeing it for the first time. Death Loves Chocolate.
Can I help you? Can I have a table, please?
Right here.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything?
Give me a latte.
Chris, it's time. I am death.
Down here.
I have come to connect
Wait.
you.
Go.
1, 2, 3. Say no, I just deplore bad service.
Oh. Why life itself even happens. Each moment is a miracle. Nothing is predictable, so every moment is just rock next to this. How much time do I have left?
I'll tell you what. Carpe diem.
And now from our illustrious treasurer, Dottie Beckert, a brief review of the KCP Profit and Loss Statement for 2019.
Thank you, Bailey. Actually, my report is on the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020.
Right, my bad.
Well, good evening, everyone. What a year it has been. Climate change is the story. It started out warm and sunny. The birds were chirping, the fish were jumping. Everyone was happy and enjoying the Rocky Horror Show and She Kills Monsters. And then, in the middle of rehearsals for Noises Off, a huge storm came roaring in from the west. It was named COVID-19, and it wiped out the theater for the year, resulting in significant loss of revenues. The forecast is mixed. The clouds of COVID-19 still block out the theatrical sun, but there is a high temperature, a high pressure area of vaccine to the east moving towards us. The timing is uncertain, but the long-term forecast is for a general lifting of COVID-19 and a gradual improvement of our financial performance. If any of you members would like a copy of our profit and loss statement, I would be glad to send you one. Just call 245-7700. That's 245-7700, or email KawaiiCommunityPlayers@gmail.com. Back to you, Bailey.
Now, in a few minutes, you'll be meeting with myself and the board of directors for the more formal proceedings, and one of those being the nomination of new board members. Now, we've had two familiar faces, hopefully renewing this year, Ross Martineau and Vita Harder, and three new faces the board has nominated this year. The first being Isaac Worth. Now, Isaac has been making contributions to Kauai's theater community for over 15 years. And while he'd like me to talk to you now about his more recent ambitions regarding his pro wrestling career and his MMA, I've instead decided to talk about his role of playing Donkey in Hawaii Children's Theater's production of Shrek the Musical. Isaac is honored to be nominated and appreciates your consideration. Sade Rurin. Sade is a Kauai native and grew up pursuing the arts. Striving to be a part of every artistic program her church and schools offered, she attended college at Regent University to further pursue an education in the theatrical arts. After moving back home to Kauai, she's had a heart to be more involved with community theater, as well as cultivating her ambition for beginning an art school for the youth of Kauai. She's looking forward to the opportunity to serve on the board. Now, Rod Green is our final nominee. Now, Rod Green served as a Marine earlier in his life, but found his way to Kauai in 2004 with his wife, Barbara Green. Yes, the illustrious costume designer. His first theatrical production of any kind was playing Commander Stone in A Few Good Men, and after that he was cast as General Justin Patterson in Matilda's Waltz. And in case you think you're starting to see a pattern here, he most recently appeared as a bugbear and a Jedi in She Kills Monsters. And joining us now is director Chris Alderette. Hey! Good to see you, Chris. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks. So now I've done a couple shows with you, and I've known you for a few years, but I don't know if a lot of our membership has. So you have directed for us in the past, but I just wanted to see if you could share a little bit about what growing up here and pursuing the arts has been like.
Yeah, it's interesting. Growing up here and pursuing the arts is almost an oxymoron.
Yeah.
You know, because it's really hard to pursue professional level of performance living on a small island, which is also kind of incredible because there is such a high level of performance, especially when going to see shows. You're always surprised at how amazing everything is. But growing up here, like as a kid experiencing that, I felt like I was getting a professional level of theater experience just watching that. And, you know, I mean, of course, going and seeing something on Broadway, you're going to be blown to the back of your seat. But I wasn't like completely caught unawares by it, I guess, because I had such a good experience watching theater just as a child here. Yeah. And then getting into theater a little later in life, high school-ish. And then having never left Kauai, moving to New York and pursuing musical theater as a full-time career. And then now I try and come back and kind of provide some of the stuff that I wish I had when I was in high school here. You know, some classes, some things that, you know, just being able to tell kids that are interested in pursuing theater, like, hey, make sure you look into this, make sure you're ready for this, you know, all kinds of things that when I got to New York, I was like, huh?
Right. So what have you directed on the island so far?
The first show I directed was for Hawaii Children's Theater. It was called Next to Normal. And I could not have dreamed of a more amazing first show to direct. And man, it'll just always hold a place in my heart. The second show I did was for KCP, and that was Title of Show, which is probably the most proud I've been of a show because I put so much of myself into it. Then the third show I did was for HCT again in their After Dark program called Lucky Stiff, which you were in. I got to direct you as the Lucky Stiff. Yeah. And then most recently, I just directed a socially distanced cabaret that took the place of the Hawaii Children's Theater summer show that went amazingly. I could not have hoped for it to go better than it did. I am still kind of baffled that we pulled it off.
So tell us about Edge's A Song Cycle. What is it?
All right, so it's a song cycle, which is a little bit different structurally. It gives the director and the creative team a lot more leeway to work with things, whereas it is a collection of songs written by these composers that are meant to tell a story how we envision it. So it doesn't have to be in the order they lay it out. It doesn't have to be in the same kind of timeline that they laid out. You can use, depending on who your performers are, things might change. The meaning of a song might change because one of your performers applies something from their own life to it, and it ends up having a deeper meaning. But really what the show is about is change and being comfortable with yourself. And it's about 4 characters' journeys into finding out who they are.
So from that, if I understand correctly, the version of Next to Normal that, the version of Edge's A Song Cycle that Kauai gets to see, that might be entirely unique to just this production. It's not just...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
There are, I think in total, 40-something songs that can be interchanged into this show. There are
so many different variations.
There are songs that might not end up in it. There are songs that might. There are songs that haven't been in it before that might get put in. So that's what's really cool about it, and that's what I really like about the idea of song cycles. A lot of composers have them, but nobody really produces them because they're not technically like, oh, this is a musical, or I have to put in the work to create a story myself, kind of a thing. But I love the fact that these really amazing composers that write amazing music can have a song cycle, just pack it there. They'd be like, so their music doesn't disappear, right?
Right.
So people can still pick up their music and apply it to now, which I think is
Circle back. So Edges, a song cycle.
Yes.
If people are interested in auditioning, what do they need to know?
Auditions, when they're going to be, January 9th and 10th.
Okay.
It is a completely sung show.
Okay.
So definitely come ready to sing. I would recommend preparing something in the style of the show. It is a contemporary musical, so don't go for the Oklahomas or the Cole Porters. Go for a more modern musical, or bring in something a pop. It doesn't have to be from musical theater. Just something that you're comfortable singing and that kind of shows off your range, because there is some squelting in this show. It's great.
So they do need to prep just a little bit for you. And you said January 9th and 10th?
Yes.
3 to 6 p.m.?
3 to 6 p.m.
And
yes.
where?
At the Puhi Theatrical Warehouse.
Awesome. Right on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. I love auditioning. Is probably my favorite part, just because I leave and come back so much that
as the director.
Yeah. I leave and come back so much that every time I audition, I see somewhere I'm like, who is this person?
Where did you come
Where
from?
did you come from? I need to know who you are. And it's great. It's so fun. And that's the fun thing about the island, is that you're always like, oh yeah, I know everybody that's going to come.
Right.
I know who's going to show up. And then somebody shows up and you're like, all right, cool. Good to know you're on the island.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Chris, thanks so much for your time, for coming in and doing this with us.
Thanks for beaming me in.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's all we got.
Awesome.
All right, Aaron, am I being seen? Am I being heard? Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much to the enormous amount of people. I believe we're up to 12 now that are joining us for this annual membership meeting. Thanks for your patience and your willingness to dive into something unknown with us. A huge thanks to Aaron, Morgan, Max, Larry. That little segment that we recorded and were able to stream for you guys would not have happened without those individuals. Thank you so much for the time you guys spent on that. That was the first time I've seen it, and that was delightful. That host was really something. All right, so let's move on to the more formal items of our annual membership meeting. I do want to remind everyone that if you'd like to request a copy, and if your membership is active with us, you absolutely get one. You can request a copy of last year's minutes and our profit and loss statement. Normally we're in person, we're at the theater, so it's easy to have a copy on hand. Since we're virtual, if you could please do us the courtesy of shooting us an email at kawaiicommunityplayers@gmail.com and letting us know you'd like a copy. We'll be happy to send that over to you digitally. All right, to the more formal items, as I said, the next two items I want to cover with everyone require votes by the membership. Now, since we are on YouTube, Aaron will let me know what you guys are chatting. So if you have questions, we can get to that at the end. So I will ask, since we are doing this virtual, you can keep your yay votes to yourself. If you do have a nay vote, to please communicate that in the chat. And I will put the motion forward. I'll wait about 60 seconds and I'll consider it passed if we do not get a nay vote by then. Please remember, you have to have an active membership with KCP in order to vote. So the first item I want to bring up to vote is the nominating slate for board members this year. Returning this year, we have Ross Martineau and Vita Harder. And some new fresh-faced zesties that we'd love to get up on the KCP board is Sade Rurin, Isaac Worth, and Rod Green. As I already went into their bios, I won't tell you too much about them, but please take the next 60 seconds, and if you feel a nay vote is in order, please type it into the chat. Aaron, please let me know if anything comes up. I closed that window and I cannot see it. All right. Well, congratulations to our returning board members and as well to our new board members. I'm glad we're getting some more doers on the board, and I'm excited to see the contributions that they have to make. The next item requiring a vote by our membership was the change in our bylaws. The adjustment to our bylaws was affected Section 3. Officers. I've already explained that in an email out to our membership, so now is the time. I'm just going to put it forward to a vote. And yeah, if you feel inclined, please throw a nay vote into the chat. You do not have, your silence is a yay vote. How we doing there, Aaron?
No nays.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to keep moving on. If you feel that was too quick, please just mention that in the chat and we can return back to it. I do want to mention the part of the production you get, not just part of it, the entire production you guys saw is the fruits of the labor for our latest project, KCP TV. As much as Max and Larry and Morgan and Aaron love doing this, we need some more bodies in there doing stuff. Main things that we need are some video editors and some cameramen. So if you have an interest, please reach out to us at kawaiicommunityplayers@gmail.com. You don't need to have any training. We're working with Hawaii Community TV, and they provide all the training you need. They can set up they'll set up a bunch of different sessions with you. You schedule them with a lovely lady named Erica who works at Hawaii. There's a $40 fee, and KCP will cover that fee if you're interested in working with us. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about acting. I understand everyone's wanting to act. We will reach out if we're ever holding auditions like that for those productions. But if you do want to get involved, the best thing you could do right now is to reach out to Hawaii and become a Hawaii producer. Right now, majority of our editing stuff, which is the most time consuming, I think, is being done by one individual, Max Richardson, who does not get paid for his time. And I'm sure he would like his life back at some point. So please have an interest. And for more information, email us at kawaiicommunityplayers@gmail.com. Now, those are the only formal items I have on the agenda for our annual membership meeting. As it is a virtual one, we wanted to keep it kind of nice and simple. We talked about not having one, but actually Larry had the idea to do something a bit more entertaining. So this is what we did. Of course, if you guys have any questions or concerns about the organization or productions we're doing, as you learned, we are doing Edges. We'll announce those opening dates in March when we know them. And I believe that's all I have to share with you. I will ask if there is a motion to adjourn, and feel free to stick around. We can talk with any of the board members you see around me. Is there a motion to adjourn the membership meeting?
Move to adjourn.
First by Lori.
Second.
Second by Morgan. All in favor to adjourn? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the meeting is adjourned at 4:23. Feel free to hang around, and Aaron, if you let me know if there's anyone in the chat that has any questions for us, please let me know. We'll hang around. I'm going to hang out another 5 minutes.
Great job, kids.
Hey, Donna, I can look at the chat now. Hey, Donna. Hey, Laurel. Hi, Faith. Dolly, that's a really good. Sorry, I'm scrolling back through the chat. Dolly had a question if auditions were going to be in masks. There will be social distancing. I don't know if Chris is going to ask them to sing in their mask, and I'm about to send an email that is about to go out with more details on that. But basically, once you arrive for the auditions this weekend, you'll go into the theater, you'll get your audition form, you will return to your car, complete your audition form, and someone will come and get you from your car when it's time to audition. So it's not going to be a big group of people. We are respecting the county's social distancing guidelines, but I do not know if he's having them sing in a mask or not. I assume if anyone's just in the lobby, yes, masks are definitely required. But as far as the audition itself, I don't think so, but I don't know. Hi, Laurel and Dennis. So glad you guys you guys could join us. All right, just cruise around for a few more minutes. Yeah. Oh, Larry, you're on Zoom, man. You can take the mic from me. Larry mentioned in our chat that directors are also needed for KCP TV. That is something I forgot to mention. If you have any inclination towards wanting to direct, even if you don't have the right script, we're currently doing very short films. So this isn't going to be a 90-minute full feature kind of thing. This is more of like a 10, 15-minute short. We do have a plethora of scripts. We're just waiting for you. We
No
can send you a
experience
bunch.
needed for the
No
directors.
experience is needed. That's correct. Yeah, we can guide you through it pretty easily. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much to the 12 people who watched that talk show.
We were up to 14. at one point.
Oof. We went viral for just a moment. Just a moment.
Don't forget Dana.
And you can always share this YouTube video with anybody that you think might benefit from it. Just, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
We're on YouTube for life.
Laurel, rehearsals for Chris's show will be taking place at the Puhi Theatrical Warehouse. Oh, Faith, that's a really good question. Chris is directing Edges of Song Cycle, which will be a live show. It will not be a KCP TV production. This will be on stage. We will be adhering to the County of Kauai's Tier 4 social distancing restrictions, which limits us to about 18 audience members per show currently. Now, if that changes, we'll adjust as we move forward. So when we do go live with the tickets, we haven't set the performance dates, but it's probably going to be early to mid-March. And when we do put the tickets up for sale, because it's going to be a significantly smaller audience size than normal, I suggest at least the 13 of you watching get those tickets as quickly as you can. And if you didn't come to our meeting and you watched it in the future, you're too late. It's probably sold out. That's a really good question, Faith. Thanks so much. You've been gone since 2016. Well, welcome back. Laurel, I didn't fully. Oh, where do the rehearsals happen for KCP TV? That's entirely up to the director. We can navigate around the rehearsal schedule at the Puhi Theatrical Warehouse. Or you can have it in your home, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever works for you. As far as you directing. Faith, there might be. Right now, with the social distancing guidelines in place, we can only have 25 people inside the warehouse at one time for a performance. So we have to, this is why Chris's show, who had a small cast of only 4 people, kind of got bumped to the only thing we could actually put on right now. But as we, continue to navigate, or if those restrictions lift in any other way, we will consider doing more productions, certainly, yes. Laurel, there is a KCP TV committee that I believe myself, Morgan, Larry, and Jessica Montoya are on. And we select the projects that get worked on, that get done. But I can personally tell you, I have an inside line as I'm on the committee. There is not a backlog of projects. So if you submit an interest, I have a feeling it would go somewhere near the very top.
So can I add to that, Bailey?
Please.
Additionally, we have some extra scripts. If the director has a script they'd like to do, share it with us. And if they don't, we have some scripts just laying around if you want to look at some scripts and pick a project. But what we really need is a director to champion a show, to take it on and cast it, rehearse it, and then we'll shoot it and put it on TV.
the wonderful thing I did double blind with Morgan is you can get away with just having a handful of rehearsals because you have the flexibility of film. So if you miss a line or want to redo something, Morgan and I are so brilliant with our craft that we only had to shoot it twice, I think. But you do have the luxury of stopping and going back, and it makes the rehearsal process very easy. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if there's not any more interaction or questions from our chat, that's all I have. Thank you so much for joining us for the first and hopefully only virtual membership meeting that KCP has to host. I would love to see all of you, all of our membership in our theater together with us next year. But I'm glad that we could put on something for you in the meantime.
Congratulations, you guys. Good job.
Absolutely. Thanks, you guys. And thank you to all the board members that made it a point to join. I will be taking off shortly, but if anyone else wants to talk to the membership or share anything, now is the time. Wonderful, wonderful. And Dottie, that green dress, that's a great dress, Dottie. And on that note, we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for joining us.